Hello you all and welcome back to another video. So in today's video we're going to be doing a client tutorial. So if you want to see how I got this look, then keep on watching. So the first thing I'm going to do is start with her eyebrows. And for her brows I am using the NYX brow pencil. This one is in the shade dark brown or espresso. I believe it's in the shade espresso. So I'm using the pencil to do her brows, and typically I don't use pencils to do brows. I use pomades. But I got some pencils because I just feel like it's a lot quicker and it gives the brows a much softer look. Okay, so yeah, so her brows were like a little bit far apart, so I did take them in more than what they actually were. So now I'm just using some concealer to carve out her brows. I will go in with a more of a darker concealer for the front of her brows because I just didn't want it to be too bright. So I'm just carving them out, getting the shape that I want, and I try to mimic my client shape as much as possible. I don't try to manipulate the brows to become something that they're actually not. I just try to mimic the shape of her brows, and I try to make sure that I cut them off where her, where the end of her eyelids or eye stops, if that makes sense. So now I'm just going in with my Morphe palette, and I forget what palette this is. I think this is the Jaclyn Hill X Morphe palette, the first palette, which I absolutely love. So I'm just using this brown shade, and I'm just placing it in her crease, using it as a transition color, and I'm just going to be building upon this shade. So I did go in with a golden color because she said she wanted a golden color. So I just went on ahead and placed that all over her lids. Now I'm taking some lash glue and I'm placing it on her brows because her brow hairs were like falling down, and I just felt like I just needed to go back in to fix her brows because I really just kept looking at them as I was doing her eyeshadow. Like, I just cannot move forward until we fix these brows. So I ended up just, going back in with the pencil and adding some lash glue, brushing her brows up with this lash glue to keep them in place. This is almost like a microblading because the brows actually stay on even after you wash your face. If you know, you know. So I do this because she is wearing a bang. So, your bangs tend to rub off of your makeup, definitely your eyebrows. So I was like, okay, I wanted to solidify her brows with the glue. No harm there. Now I'm going in with the NYX Epic Liquid Liner, and I am just giving her a line. I am going to be actually winging this line out because not that her eye shape was really big, but I wanted to really complement her eyes. And so I felt like she needed a winged liner. So I'm going to actually wing this out and make the liner a little bit more dramatic than normal. So now I'm just adding some of that same lash glue. This is the Kiss lash glue. This lash glue is really good. It's super strong. I don't know if it's as strong as the black one, but this one is still strong, and I got this one from Amazon. So I'm just adding some lashes. Now I'm going to be taking some of that NYX glitter base, and I press that all on the front part of her eyes, her eyelid, and then I just added some glitter. I really like this glitter because it's really fine, but it's very sparkly, and this camera is not showing up. It's not showing up on camera, but it's a really nice sparkly glitter, and I absolutely love it. Like, I'm obsessed with it. So I'm going in with this L'Oreal pencil. This pencil is very creamy, so it's easy to go into the waterline without any tugging, and it's extremely black. So now I'm going in with the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer, and I'm just placing this all over her skin. And then I went in with the Morphe spray just to soften up her face. I did not add any moisturizer, okay? Because this makeup needed to last throughout the night because it was her birthday, and so she wanted to go out. So I didn't want her face to be too oily or get oily too quickly, if that makes sense, which is why I added the primer and then the spray. So now I'm going in with the shade NC50 and the shade NW48 because she have more neutral tones. Her tone isn't really red, and it isn't really cool. So I just mixed these two shades, and it came out her perfect shade, like literally her perfect shade. So when I'm not sure, I like to go in with that little lip gloss wand and press it over the face to kind of blend it out to see if that's what I wanted. But as you can see, the shade was perfect. So now I'm going in with the same concealer I used for her eyebrows. And I'm just placing this underneath her eyes. I'm not going to make it too bright. I'm just going to make it like the perfect shade because, yeah. I want everything to look natural, seamless, but glam at the same time. So I'm just placing this in the middle of her face, her forehead, nose, under eyes, cupid's bow. And we're going to just start blending this out. And I am using my Bounce Back Beauty Sponge, which is super soft. I'm blending out underneath the eyes last. As you guys know, the under eyes need the most coverage, and I want the under eyes to have a nice full coverage without it being too much. So now I'm taking my setting powder in the shade Chocolate, and I'm going to be placing this underneath her eyes to set that concealer. And look how smooth that is. It is super smooth. Like, I love it. It's super smooth. Like, you can't even deny the smoothness. So I'm just going to be placing this underneath her eyes, the bridge of her nose, everywhere I place the concealer. And do not forget to set those smile lines, because that's where, sometimes we have creasage. So you want to set those smile lines all the time. Don't forget to do it. So now I'm going in with my other setting powder in the shade Banana, but the camera got blurry. But I'm just placing this underneath her eyes and kind of brightening up the middle of her face just a little bit more with that powder. We're going to actually sweep that away later. So I'm using my chocolate powder, and I am just setting the rest of her face because I want to solidify her makeup. But I'm not going to remove the powder from directly underneath her eyes until I'm almost done with her makeup, because I want that to be bright and set. I don't want it to move. So I'm going in with that same Morphe palette on a flat brush, and I'm placing some eyeshadow underneath her waterline because I just wanted to give it that like nice and neat look, and just, just kind of complement the eyes even more. So you definitely want to use a small brush to tight line underneath the eyes with that eyeshadow. I'm going in with my lip liner in the shade Mocha, and I'm using this to line her lips. I'm also going in with my lip gloss. This one is in the shade For Her, and I'm going to also use this to put all over her lips. Because the lip gloss has color in it, I didn't have to go in with the lipstick first or anything like that. And then you guys know we do live in, it is more cooler this season. So sometimes lipsticks, and liquid lipsticks can make the lips a lot drier, even though they last long. But if you get a good opaque lip gloss, you should be fine. So now I'm going in with some bronzer. This is just some powder bronzer. As you guys see, I did not go in with any cream bronzer or cream blush. I'm just going in with this powder bronzer from Black Radiance in the shade Medium Dark. And I am just bronzing up her forehead, her chin. It's not her chin, her cheekbones. And now I'm going to sweep away that powder using the shade Chocolate. I'm just going to sweep this away nicely, ever so lightly, because you don't want to disturb any of your work. And it swept away really nicely, and it gave her the brightness that I felt like she needed. So now I'm spraying her face with some Morphe setting spray, locking it all in with my sponge, adding some more gloss, which is Sleepover, because I wanted it to be a little bit more brighter. Now I'm adding some highlight from my Anastasia Beverly Hills Sun Dip palette, my favorite palette. And I'm just adding it everywhere just to kind of give her face that finish. So I'm just adding a little bit in her tear duct, just a little bit, not too bright, not overly done, because I wanted her to be like grown and sexy, because she is grown. I wanted it to just be a sexy look. And this is the finished look, you guys. It came out so nice, and you guys can see the sparkle on the eyes. She absolutely loved it. I loved it. I felt like it was just perfect. I felt like I love the way I did her eyes, because it just complimented her eyes so well, and it just looks so good. Thank you all so much for watching. I love you all. Bye.